Hey everyone, this is Blackhawk SC, and in this video we're going to take a look at one of the rarest mechs in the game today, the awesome hero Pretty Baby. I bet there are more than a few newer players in the game that aren't even aware of this mech because it doesn't show up all that often in matches. And when it does show up, it usually doesn't get big damage numbers, and so no one pays attention to it at the end of the round. You know how some people are famous for being famous? The PB is in pretty much the opposite situation. Now what are the real reasons why we don't see this mech all that much? Well, first it's an old mech, so people tend to prefer the newer chassis that they haven't played before. It's an assault hero, meaning it costs quite a bit of MCs to make that purchase, and putting in that much MCs for a mech that doesn't do anything special is not worth it for a lot of people. For people who do know the mech, while it has the notoriety of being a bad mech, it's not the worst mech in the game, nor even the worst assault. If it had such a distinction, a lot of people will play the mech for the novelty, or to simply prove it's not bad. As I alluded to, the PB isn't a great chassis. The mech came out when PGI had a rule where all the heroes had to be variants found in lore, so the PB couldn't have been made more interesting with, for example, having a couple of ballistic hardpoints which the other awesomes were missing. It inherits most of the shortcomings of the other awesomes, namely the big torso hitboxes and low hardpoints, but it also came with the least number of hardpoints among the awesomes. The hardpoints it does have are awkwardly placed. The missile hardpoints are located far apart and on both the torso and arms, which leads to bad convergence when using slow projectiles like SRMs or MRMs. Overall, the hardpoints are spread out across the mech, meaning that the player has to expose a lot of the mech to get out a decent alpha. But with Civil War tech and the generous quirks from PGI, the mech can finally take advantage of its high engine cap without having to go to a super risky XL engine. A brawler setup like the LPL SRM build I demoed earlier is now a lot less ridiculous, but the one I play on the PB is an MRM boat because it takes advantage of the missile cooldown and heat gen quirks the best. This plays as a mid-short to short-range skirmisher. With the PB having just 3 missile hardpoints, SRMs don't pack enough punch, and MRMs are the only way to maximize those hardpoints. Sure, you can LRM too, but the 8R is better suited for that role. If you don't use MRMs all that often, I'll point out that mid-range isn't the best position to use them, unlike what their name suggests. Its low velocity and high spread means that it's easy for targets at mid-range to dodge or twist from your shots, and the damage on the targets that you do hit will be spread across several components. The best way to use MRMs is in fact at short range, but if a short range engagement isn't safe for you, taking a shot from 300 to 400 meters isn't a complete waste either. You'll also notice that this build has about 2.5 points of ghost heat when firing all the MRMs together, after accounting for skills and quirks. But as you can see, it's pretty minimal and it's worth firing the MRMs together to reduce face time. For my skill tree, for firepower I'm concentrating on heat gen and cooldown. Max out durability. I have near full heat management and half of radar depth. Okay, let's see how this Pretty Baby build does in match. In this match we're on Forest Colony Escort, Escort being a rare game mode to go with our rare mech. We have a couple of like a light battle going on over at the water side. We're just gonna let them handle it for now.
Target destroyed. Target.
Fortuner. Not fortune.
I'm gonna use this rock over here to peek, to do a left peek. And the left side peaks is kind of where you should be playing this mech as much as possible. If you recall, I mentioned if you cannot take short-range shots, like I did with the catapult previously, then you should take that mid-range shot if you can. Here, the Atlas is at pretty decent range for us to shoot at, but you can see, our missiles are getting spread. It's not concentrating damage on that Atlas as much. There's that spread and velocity coming in to that Griffin shot. With moving targets, MRMs can be difficult to lead correctly. We're getting a lot of enemies on this side, so I don't know if we should continue peeking here without some support. There's that Atlas again. Luckily, we're not the only ones on this side, so we can just deal with here and there.
Julius indicated.
Well, that Banshee is pushing without much support from his teammates, so I don't know what their team was thinking there. But that side is getting too hot for us, so we're gonna turn around the rock.
VIP is moving from G9.
Try to get around their back. I kind of feel like that push is where the enemy team lost their match. They just kind of gave us their backs, and that wasn't really good for them.
It's one touch, Charlie.
My arms are so wide that some of my missiles are hitting the rock, even though, you know, I have a lot of mech exposed outside of the rock, but, you know, even then, my arm missiles are still hitting that rock.
Where's the VIP?
And now we just, they got out of cover, and, you know, we're able to kill a whole bunch of them at that point. Oh, our team has done pretty well, so we've kind of stuck together, and we just need to take care of the last few mechs.
On hotel.
I like that king crab, and then we can go for that VIP.
There's still a local somewhere around there, but
That king crab's focusing on me.
Crab's gone. So now we just need to finish the VIP. Took maybe 3 or 4 shots on that VIP, so there's a 300 damage. About 300 damage or so is coming from just the VIP's armor and structure alone.
Nice fight.
It's a good match. And even accounting for the VIP damage, we still pulled 1k, so not bad. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this presentation of the awesome Pretty Baby. If you know me, the reason why I got this is because the awesome is my favorite mech in lore. But for the rest of you guys, I think this is a case of where I play the mech so you don't have to. I don't really recommend getting this mech unless you love a challenge, in which case I wish you the best of luck. Please subscribe to this channel for more MWO mech reviews and gameplay videos like this, and I'll see you next time.